Sup nerds, I'm Tom. We're going to take a quick look at the prototype for the newest game in the Valeria line of games called Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria on Kickstarter now or later, or it's over, or whatever. So of course, first things first, since this is a Kickstarter preview, that means that everything we're looking at here is prototype form. So obviously it's not going to be exactly what you get from the Kickstarter. It's going to have the component quality is going to pump up and everything, but the actual gameplay is going to be pretty much the same. And of course, I'm not going to explain to you exactly how you play the game. This isn't a how-to play video. This is just letting you know, give you a good feel for the game, let you know kind of how it plays and what it's like and who it's for to see if it's good for you. I also haven't played every single Valeria game. This is now the third game that I've played. I've played Valeria Card Kingdoms, Margraves, and this one. So I haven't played Villages or Quests, which means I've played the majority, unless you count Corsairs of Valeria, which... yeah, I guess I do, so I've played half. Of the 3 Valeria games I've played, this one might be my favorite. Now, of course, I know when it's in Kickstarter preview mode, everybody says that, right? So that the new is always better. You turn into Barney Stinson at that moment.
New is always better.
But the main reason why I'm saying that is because the main mechanic for this game is dice drafting. And dice drafting is probably my favorite mechanic overall. Dice drafting... like most specifically dice draft, not just drafting in general. Like Seven Wonders isn't in this category at all. It's dice drafting, worker placement, and deck building are probably my 3 favorite game mechanics, and this one has a really clever dice drafting system. It's actually a bit reminiscent of a game called Paris New Eden that we did a review for a couple months ago, mostly just in the way that you draft the dice, in that there's, when you pick up a die, the color of the die matters, the face of the die matters, and also the location you take the die from matters, and you get to trigger like a special ability for that die. So that's actually probably where the comparison sort of ends, because this game is definitely better than Paris New Eden. I'm pretty certain that thematically in this game you are the villains of the Valeria world or whatever, and you're gathering your troops to go complete your battle plans and stuff like that. You're hiring champions and stuff. So you're all the evils, all the monsters that you fight in like Valeria Card Kingdoms, you are playing as those monsters in this one. This game is very simple in terms of mechanics and like what you do on your turn. It's very fast moving. You know, you just take one die and trigger a thing, or you either you either take a die or you complete a battle plan, but really you just do one quick thing and then it's over. So the turns go around real fast. There are a lot of options, and there's also a lot of like bonuses. There's tons of stuff, like symbols printed out there, tons of little special abilities and little bonuses that you can get. So you're constantly trying to create different chains. There's also no real rounds of the game. You just start playing and everybody keeps going around and around until endgame is triggered. And then you complete that round and count up points. What you do on your turn is you're mostly going to be drafting dice from these areas. You do have a little worker that you have to move and put in the area, but then the only really way that's limiting you is you can't take from the same area twice, or if you completed a battle plan, which is the only place you're going to put this worker other than on the board to draft die is over here to complete a battle plan. You can't do that twice in a row. You always have to move the worker somewhere else. But like whenever you draft the dice from here, you put it on your little board, and then hey, this will let you purchase a champion, which is instant, constant game effects or end game scoring cards. Like, so you could either, you take a die from here, and then you could grab a card for an instant benefit, grab a card for a constant ability, or grab a card for end game scoring stuff. Okay, so that's like the special ability you get from this area. Special ability from this area would be you get some gold. Special ability from this area is you get to purchase and reserve a battle plan, which is one of the main mechanics of the game, of how you are going to gain points. That's what you're actually drafting the dice for. You're drafting the dice to meet the requirements and complete these battle plans. So like this battle plan over here, this battle plan says that you need 2 gray dice and 1 green dice. And then it has a type, which is mostly for scoring effects. I'll explain how you do these a little bit more in a little bit. This section over here, after you take a die, you also get a gem, which is like a special ability thing. You can spend it to manipulate dice. Like you can change the color and you can flip the die to a different number. And this area gets you magic, which is another dice manipulation thing. It also lets you cycle through these decks. Or you could complete one of these scoring cards over here. The only other real action you're going to take on your turn is you could bring your little dude over to your battle plan area. That's where you're going to complete either a battle plan that you have already reserved, or you can just straight up complete one from the line. When you do that, you have to meet the requirements of the die types and amounts, but the actual faces of the die don't mean whether you're going to be successful or unsuccessful. There's really no unsuccessful. It's just I add up all the faces of the die, and wherever that lines up in the chart, like that's how much damage I'm dealing, so to speak, through this battle plan, I guess. that's how many points I'm going to get. So I'm never going to fail in a sense, right? It's not like the idea of trying to battle a monster where you don't, and you don't roll these dice either. You roll them when they get placed out there, but other than that, the dice remain as their faces for the remainder of the game until you run out of dice in the area and you have to replace. So it is nice that no matter what, you're going to be gaining points. And that does feel really good in this game, is that, you know, you never like really lock yourself out. Even that, like, you only have 3 spaces to reserve dice after you draft them. You draft the die from here and you place it on your little board. You only have 3 little spaces at first, and you can upgrade to have 5. But if you have 3 little spaces and you realize you can't do anything else, whenever you go to a location to draft the die, you can either ditch that die or swap it with a die in that you already have on your board. So you're never really locked out. Also, talking about player boards, this is one of my favorite parts of this game, is it has a very scythe-like upgrade system where you have all these little chits covering up bonuses on one of you have 2 player boards, you know. So on one of your player boards, these chits are already covering up bonuses. After you complete battle plans, or there's another way, completing these goals, these purple gold cards up here will let you remove them, but not exactly the same. So mulligan what I said a little bit there. After you complete a battle plan, you pull off one of these chits from this board, and then you place it onto that board. So it's kind of that scythe of, like, you're revealing more abilities from here, and then when you cover up abilities over here, you gain that stuff too. And then there's also, like, you know, this is a big grid, and when you put little chits next to each other, you get these little link bonuses that are in between and stuff. And a lot of the times, the orientation of these chits on here will be a mid-game scoring card that you're trying to complete for extra points. So there's, again, it's like there's a lot of little bonuses all over the place. So not only are you drafting a die, but, like, I'm drafting a die with a number and a color, and it has a bonus too. There's also the die themselves have an inverse cost discount. So, like, a 1 has a -5 discount on it, which means if I take this 1 from an area where I could then purchase cards, right? That's the special abilities, I can purchase cards. Well, now I will be able to purchase this at a -5 draft cost. So it's not always super beneficial to just try and draw draft the 5s and the 6s. Sometimes you want to draft a 1 because you can spend a magic to flip it up to a 6, and when you draft the 1, you then have a discount for purchasing cards and stuff. So there's a lot going on here. A lot of things to think about. Lots of, like, it's kind of brain burnery. I mean, it's really not that heavy, right? Like, honestly, I know I said earlier, I'm not going to teach you exactly how to play the game, but that's like 90% of it, really. Now, when you get the game, you can just look up in the rules, like, exact little things, like exactly how everything works, but you mostly know how it works because it's really straightforward and it's really fun. Again, I love dice drafting. It's one of my favorite mechanics. I think this probably is my favorite game in the Valeria line. I love this upgrade system is really great. You're constantly trying to make little bonuses there, and the fact that it's also on a scorecard is really nice because then it's giving you a direction to try and go for. You do realize, though, as you're playing, like, you're never going to upgrade the entire board. Like, you can never take off really all of these chits because, I mean, you could get close. Because, well, it depends on how many of these goals you complete up here, but once you complete 7 of these here, then once you complete 7 battle plans, that's what triggers the end of the game. So unless you bum rush and complete all of these things first, and then go and complete your battle plans, then you'll be able to unlock a lot. But then, like, that last one, that 7th one, you're never going to get to use that ability that you unlock because, well, the game's over now, right? As with pretty much all of Daily Magic's games, the art is really great in this game. I would like to talk about the component quality, but obviously this is prototype, but I can go ahead and guess that it's going to be very similar to the other Valeria games where the component quality is really, really high. If any of what I was talking about in this video sounds interesting to you, if you like dice drafting, if you like these Americanized, sort of very colorful and very thematic Euro-style games, it's kind of crunchy, a little brain burnery at times. Well, maybe I should take back the word brain burnery because it's really not a big game. You just have a decent amount of options and bonuses that you want to get. So I feel like if you're thinking, oh, it's going to be like On Mars. No, it's not like On Mars. Neverboard Gaming highly recommends that you check out Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria. We're going to put a link to the Kickstarter campaign in the description box down below. Also in the description box down below, hey, there's going to be stuff about Game Toppers. There's going to be a little button there that says subscribe. What are you going to subscribe to? That's our channel. You should subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored. Ho-ho, ba-boom. Sup nerds, I'm Tom. We're going to talk about a game today. What game is it? Well, it's the newest in the Valeria line of games. Sup nerds, I'm Tom, and we're going to talk about the newest in the Valeria... Sup nerds, I'm Tom. We're going to take a quick look at the Kickstarter version. Man, come on, just say it. Just do it. Sup nerds, I'm Tom. We're going to take a quick look at the prototype for Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria. That was so close, you know?